In an international relationship, one of the biggest questions we face is this. Do we apply for a fiancé visa, the K-1, or get married first and apply for a spousal visa, or the CR1? Many people assume the spousal visa is faster because you end up with a green card first. But the reality is a little bit more complicated. In fact, the K-1 fiancé visa is often faster if your number one goal is simply to live together in the United States as soon as possible. Today on Coffee with Richard, we're going to break down the real timelines, the hidden advantages and hidden trade-offs between the K-1 fiancé visa and the marriage green card process. Hi, I'm Richard Herman, an immigration attorney with more than 30 years of experience helping couples navigate U.S. immigration law. Let's walk through the differences. Number one, the K-1 fiancé visa timeline. The K-1 visa allows a U.S. citizen to bring their fiancé to the U.S. so the couple can get married here. The basic process works like this. First, the U.S. citizen files a petition called the I-129F with USCIS, U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Service. Once that petition is approved, the case goes through the National Visa Center, or the NVC, and then to the U.S. Embassy or Consulate for the visa interview. Right now, the typical K-1 timeline from door to door is roughly 12 to 18 months before the fiancé can enter the United States. That's why many couples choose the K-1 visa. It often gets them physically together in the U.S. faster than the spousal visa route. But here's the important part many couples don't realize. The K-1 visa only gets your fiancé into the U.S. if it's approved. It does not give them permanent residency or a green card, not right away. Once they arrive, you must marry within 90 days. After the wedding, the foreign spouse must file for adjustment of status to apply for the green card. And that process can take another 12 to 18 months. So while the K-1 visa can get couples together faster, the total timeline to a green card can stretch closer to 2 or even 3 years. Number two, limitations. After entering on a K-1, there are also some limitations the couples should understand. When someone enters the U.S. on a K-1, they cannot automatically work. They must apply for employment authorization, which takes time, usually somewhere between 1 to 3 months. International travel, is also restricted. Until advanced parole travel authorization is approved or until the green card is issued, the person generally cannot leave the United States. In some cases, advanced parole can take many months or even close to a year. So during that period, travel outside the U.S. is not a good idea. It could lead to abandonment of the green card, which means the spouse could be stuck outside the U.S. For a year or longer. Number three, the spousal visa process. Let's look at the spousal immigrant visa, often called the CR1 or IR1 visa. In this case, the couple marries first, usually while the foreign spouse is living outside the United States. The U.S. citizen files an immigrant petition called the I-130, and that case moves from the USCIS to the National Visa Center. And eventually the foreign spouse attends an interview at a U.S. consulate or embassy. Currently, the spousal visa process from door to door typically takes about 24 months, in some cases even a little bit longer. So it often takes longer before the couple can actually live together in the United States compared to the K-1. But the key difference is what happens when the spouse arrives. Unlike the K-1 process, the spouse enters the U.S. as a green card holder. Once they cross the border, they're a permanent resident or green card holder. That means they can work immediately. They can also travel internationally immediately, and they can start building their life in the U.S. without filing another major application right away. Number four, a hidden advantage of the spousal visa. There's another aspect interesting advantage of the spousal visa that couples often overlook. If the marriage is more than 2 years old when the spouse enters the U.S. on the immigrant visa, the immigrant receives a 10-year permanent resident green card. That means the couple does not need to file the I-751 petition later to remove a temporary condition. For many couples, avoiding that extra step can simplify the immigration process. again, if you're married and you get the green card at the time that your marriage is less than 2 years old, you get a 2-year probationary green card. And then towards the end of the 2 years, you got to file that I-751, which can take several years. And it's a pain. Section 5, which option is actually faster? So which visa is actually faster? It depends on your goal. If your priority is getting together in the U.S. as quickly as possible, many couples choose the K-1 fiancé visa. But if your priority is reaching permanent residency status sooner and avoiding additional filings after arrival, the spousal visa may be the better long-term path. Every couple situation is different and requires special considerations. By the way, there's some options where couples can be united in the U.S. if the foreign national can apply for H-1B visa, worker visa, or an L-1 intercompany transfer visa. Both of those are dual intent visas, which allow the other person to come here even though they intend to immigrate and file for adjustment of status. Sometimes the U.S. citizen is living abroad and they want to they're eligible to apply for consular processing of the I-130. In other words, they can file the I-130 directly at the embassy and not have to file stateside with USCIS. That could save a year or a year and a half of time consular processing. The problem is that there's no automatic right to do that. You have to qualify and apply for permission at the embassy. In any event, all these cases, every case is different. Factors like work needs, travel plans, immigration strategy, relationship timeline should all be considered before starting the process. If you and your partner are trying to decide between a K-1 fiancé visa and marriage visa, our team at the Herman Legal Group has helped thousands of couples navigate immigration for the 30 years at 1-800-08-4013 or our website at lawfirmforimmigrants.com. We're happy to schedule a consultation with you. We do many consultations online, no matter where you're located in the U.S. or abroad. We're happy to help you. Thanks for visiting. Hope you enjoyed your coffee and look forward to talking soon. Bye-bye.